Dylan's parents couldn't help but worry about him after they discovered him sneaking out into an abandoned home every day after school. They decided to ask him why, and his reasons stunned them. Before we start, we can get this video to 1,000 likes. Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Dylan was ecstatic to learn that at 10 years old, a couple had chosen to adopt him from the group home he lived in. He had always heard stories about how the older a kid got, the slimmer the chances were of finding a home. The young boy had always longed for a family, and now that it was happening and he was headed to his new home, there was only one thing that bothered him: the thought of leaving his best friend, Adam. "I'll miss you, Adam," he said as they embraced one last time. "I'll never forget, trust me." With that one last goodbye, Dylan smiled at his parents and took each of their hands in his. They walked to their car happily, ready to embark on a new lifelong journey together. One day, Dylan's mom Abigail was waiting for him to head home from school. She had his afternoon snack ready, but he didn't make it home until 2 hours later. "Where were you, honey? Why did you come home late? I was worried about you," she asked. "Sorry, Mom. I was with my teacher to study a new math topic that I'm having difficulty with," he lied. The following day, the same thing happened again. He arrived home 2 hours later than he should have, and that sparked Abigail's concern. "I don't think he's been studying with his teacher," she told her husband Dave. "Why do you say so? Maybe he's having difficulty with his lessons," he replied. Abigail shook her head. "No, I really don't think so. He's a smart kid. I checked his school uniform the past 2 days and they're dusty. Not from playing, but from sitting on muddy ground. I think he goes somewhere after school. We need to follow him tomorrow." Upon hearing that his son would go home in dirty clothes, Dave agreed that they should see where Dylan would go after school. So they waited across the street from the school entrance the following day and saw that he was headed in the opposite direction of their home. Abigail followed shortly behind Dylan and saw him entering an abandoned house, which caused her to panic. "What is he doing in there?" she asked her husband. Abigail decides to enter the house to see if Dylan was in any sort of trouble. As soon as she walks in, she sees Dylan taking food out of his backpack and giving it to a homeless man on the floor. He then takes out some of his dad's old clothes, which he had disposed of in the garage, and handed them to the man. "I hope you like the food, sir," Dylan told the man. "These were what they served at our school cafeteria today. Tomorrow, I will get you something else." Abigail was stunned by what she saw. She called her husband to enter the house, and even he marveled at his son's selfless qualities. "Dylan, honey," Dave suddenly said, causing Dylan and the homeless man to jump in surprise. "Do you know this man?" he asked. Dylan was suddenly nervous, and his eyes filled with tears. "Yes, Dad," he admitted. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for lying to you. I made a promise to my best friend at the group home that I would take care of his dad since I had a chance to visit him now. I'm sorry. Please don't send me back. I love you both dearly," he begged. Abigail couldn't help but feel bad for Dylan, who was suddenly fearful that they'd abandoned him for lying. "Honey, we will never take you back to the group home. You're our son," she assured him. "We love you, but of course, we also want you to be honest with us. We're your parents, and we need to know what's going on with you." Dylan nodded. "I just thought you wouldn't allow me to visit him. My best friend Adam only has me to count on to take care of his dad. He's sick," he revealed. Abigail and Dave didn't hesitate to help the man, who introduced himself as Greg. They took him to the hospital, where he was examined and treated. Once he recovered, Dave got him a job at his company, where he slowly earned money to get himself a decent home. Dave made sure to guide Greg throughout his transition and promised that once he was settled, he'd help Greg get Adam back from the group home. A year passed and Dylan and his parents just finished preparing their Christmas dinner. They had turkey, slabs of steak, greens and mashed potatoes, and Abigail's specialty apple pie on the table. Once they finished setting up, they gathered around the table and sat alongside Adam and Greg, who were finally reunited after years of being apart. Before dinner, they said their prayers and raised their glasses for a toast. "Here's to Dylan," Greg started. "May everyone be blessed to have a friend like him, loving, selfless, and fiercely loyal." "To Dylan," they all cheered.